All right, half a day. Welcome to episode 2 of the Guam Guy Show, and I'm still having trouble getting used to saying that out loud. Today's topic is about drones, which are way more interesting than you'd think, or at least way more interesting than I used to think. Right off the top of the bat, we can talk about drones with regards to search and rescue, which I've actually seen them testing, and we could talk about drones as used in scientific research as well. I'm joined today by Ms. Perla from Wings Aviation, who is the Chief Operating Officer. I'm also joined with Janelle from the University of Guam, graduate student. And I'll let you finish introducing yourselves because you have a handful of affiliations and they're all really interesting.
I am a graduate student studying environmental science at the University of Guam, as well as a research assistant under the NASA Guam Space Grant. And then I'm also a supervisor of the drone corps at the University of Guam.
Wow, I am really jealous. I wish I could say the word NASA and my name in the same sentence.
Yeah. in any flex.
In any kind of way. It is a great flex, yeah. And also, last but not least, my very, very good friend, Mike Kittigwa here. You've seen a lot of his footage in my own Instagram videos. And you can see his little watermark there on Mike Kittigwa. That's more of the typical use of drones, right? You get your pictures, you get your awesome videos. He takes it a step further by doing something called FPV. So he has this awesome headset with him flying around like really close, literally inside caves and through trees, through the tree canopy, and that kind of precision is just mind-blowing. I gotta just shout this guy out a little bit more.
Thanks, man.
So I met Janelle literally in a swamp, and we might talk about that in a little bit. I met Mike here on an obstacle course race at Trench Mudder. I think it's called Trench Challenge now.
Yeah.
And that was at 2016, and we've been good friends ever since. Partners in crime, not any literal crime, I think. With all kinds of diving adventures, hiking, rock climbing, and all that stuff. You see him on the extreme cleanups. And he is also here with Wings Aviation. He is the Director of Technology, and I'm throwing on Cyber Lord.
It's my unofficial title.
Unofficial title?
Yeah.
I think I'll just call you Cyber Lord from now on.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. So I already kind of primed the audience there for some search and rescue stuff. To the audience, if you don't know, I'm actually a freediving instructor, and I teach very often at EPOW Beach. And while I'm teaching there, trying to teach my students how to relax and breathe properly and just kind of empty their minds, sometimes there was a spat of a few months in a row where there would be drones flying really loudly overhead, practicing some search and rescue operations, carrying life rings and such. Were you involved with that, or do you know about it?
Was that us? I wasn't there. I think I haven't joined the company at the time, but the people carrying life rings.
That would more than likely be us over at EPOW Beach.
Yeah.
Over at EPOW Beach, yes, that would be us.
Definitely us.
This was about early last year, doing some testings with the Guam Fire Department, just showcasing what drones are capable of doing. And of course, it's such an innovative technology, right? You want to be able to showcase its capabilities, the quick response that it's capable of doing. But yeah, that would be us. Yeah. We were able to take out the life rings, as you mentioned. We had a swimmer in the water, just demonstrating that type of rescue. And they were quite impressed. GFD was quite impressed, and so were the standbyers. People usually, when they see us testing out at EPOW, we get a nice crowd. It's always fun. They come up. A lot of kids, a lot of young kids. They get very, very interested and in awe, right, of what the drone is doing, and they come up. They want to touch, feel it. And they definitely want to learn. And so we're there, and we give, that opportunity for our bystanders to be able to touch and feel and learn, educate them a little on what we're doing and demonstrating.
Mm-hmm. That touches my heart in all kinds of ways. One, we talk about diversifying the economy of Guam, and a lot of people can't think of options, including myself, honestly. I'm like, man, what else can we do here? And then we could potentially be this hub of technology. If you guys are doing some amazing
Absolutely.
drone stuff that I never even thought about capable, life-saving drones. And it's not just this out there kind of idea. Like literally in that same spot, a couple of months ago, I was teaching a class and there was a distressed swimmer screaming for help. So there was a man and a woman, and the guy was, I guess, slowly drowning. So I told my students just to stand up and wait for me, and I had to go and I went to go and rescue him. So it's definitely something that could be used here. We do have some people that drown occasionally, and these are some lives lost. So if we just have this technology, we could literally save lives. And not only that, but if kids are coming out, that can just it's just
Sure.
Yeah, that can just be
Yes.
more for our economy and more livelihoods. Never mind the economy, people can feed their families.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Again, it's very innovative. There's never a time where we're out there practicing or demonstrating or preparing for whatever events we have coming up that we don't have a crowd or even just one child come up to us and say, "Wow, what's going on here?" They want to help carry the equipment. They want to, they have tons of questions to ask, and they're always starry-eyed about it.
Anything to add? Mike?
To the
Like search and rescue
search
stuff?
and rescue. Oh yeah. I don't know if we can talk about the Palau one.
Oh yeah, for sure. We
Yeah.
definitely can.
So we've also branched into Palau, helping them with their surveillance, and we're looking to help with their search and rescue as well, to integrate thermal drones to look for people. I don't know, if a lost person, just to, I guess,
Or like predator vision in a drone?
yeah, kind of similar to that. Maybe not as I don't know what the technology military has, but ours is definitely capable of finding people and assisting search and rescue, and giving them the tools for
Is
that.
that based off like thermal imagery with your drone?
No, our drones have dual cameras, so of course we would use thermal, and then at the same time just your regular RGB
yeah.
cameras. Yeah.
So what kind of drones are you using for like the search and rescue things that you're doing in EPAL?
We've used our M600. We have a gimbal on it as well.
Yeah.
But we also use a Mavic 2 Pro Enterprise
Okay.
dual. That one has, of course, 2 cameras on it. It's lighter and easier to deploy. So that's why we would focus on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also has the features of the infrared and also the mic and the speakers.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's
we
a
can,
great feature to have.
Wait, so you
Yeah.
can like talk to victims?
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
Oh my God.
Tell them,
Yes.
hey, help us on the way, or be calm, or like swim here, swim there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Seriously.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I would if I got on that mic, you wouldn't want me on the mic. You're like, hey, Prim, chill, fam. The rescue guy's coming. Just take this ring. But so, if you have other things other than regular cameras, are you able to like search at night, or is that still a bit of ways?
There is definitely a way to search at night, and I would go with Mike's amazing talent with the FPV. Is that something that's capable of picking up for night vision?
I don't want to say night vision. I'd say low light cameras to be
Okay.
technical, but yeah, you can put definitely low light cameras on our FPV drones to go out and search for people. Even technically, thermal can work at night,
Yeah.
since it's picking up radiometric energy.
Okay.
So it doesn't require light. It requires just the thermal heat coming off, and it senses that.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a sad story, but I used to work down in Suman, and I remember helicopters just doing lines trying to find some lost. I say they're kids who had overturned a canoe, and they didn't come back, or not all of them came back. I don't remember the exact story. It was many years ago, and they're just doing lines, searching around at night. And it relies on these bright lights, but if you ever, out anywhere with flashlights, there's only so much you can really see. So that's an even more amazing application.
Absolutely. And to add to that, Farron, with the drones, they fly lower, right? They're capable of flying lower. So you get more of an immediate response, or some kind of you pick up quicker than you would with a manned aircraft.
Right.
I come from the manned side as well, so to be able to understand how drones are capable of flying lower than a regular aircraft or a helicopter, that's an added value to search and rescue.
And to add to that, drones, it could be a force multiplier, as in not just one drone pilot, you can have 10 or have a swarm of drones. That way they can all sweep and be way more efficient than maybe one or two helicopters. Because the resources to deploy one helicopter or two, that's in the hundreds, or I don't know how many thousands of dollars, but it's very expensive. But drones can be a very cost efficient and very efficient in general way to search for people.
Not to mention safe for the operators as well. If you have multiple manned aircraft,
Yeah.
That is correct.
that takes some really precise piloting and
coordination.
Yeah, if it's drones, like worst case scenario, if they hit each other, you lose your drones.
Yeah.
Which is not a great scenario either.
Right. But at least nobody has died.
Yeah.
And you mentioned going back to Palau, you're doing surveillance out there.
Yes, we're planning on.
So we're assisting with some government projects. We're looking forward to that. It's still in the works. We're doing demonstrations and event planning for those demonstrations, and just showcasing again what drones are capable of doing. It's something that Bella Wings is definitely trying to expand out, or the goal to expand out, not to all our neighboring islands. This technology, it shouldn't just be people with money who's able to connect to this type of technology. It should be everybody. So our neighboring islands, if we can bring that technology to our neighboring islands, it's definitely a goal for Bella Wings. It's not just one particular island, but to eventually expand out to our neighboring islands.
So,
and assisting, with everything that we're doing out here on Guam, bringing the use cases as far as search and rescue, or mail delivery, right? Packages, medical supplies to.
On that note, I'm going to cut you off there. You have this promo vid I watched earlier, and I think that's a good segue just to cue that up right now.
Our world is forever changing, and with that come many challenges. Imagine a world where we are connected beyond the physical constraints that limit our imagination. Imagine a place where the simplest problems are met with the most forward-thinking solutions.
Some news and entertainment for this morning. The weather today seems nice and sunny, so be prepared to crank up the AC at your homes. I've just received some breaking news from my team. The lockdown has been extended following a sharp rise in cases on island. Remember, folks, we're in this together, and the governor is really going to prevent.
A place where your chances of survival are that much greater. Where the true definition of access is no longer limited by social disparity. A world where the development of a new industry challenges young minds to step up and see beyond their traditional career. What if the world of tomorrow already exists today? And the answers? They come from the sky.
All clear.
Initiating drone delivery.
Access for all, with the ability to save lives. take healthcare to the next level, and connect in innovative ways we never imagined, built for everyone.
Thank God, thank you so much.
The sky has always been beyond the limits of our imagination. Are you ready for the future today?
I gotta tell you, I love absolutely everything about that. One thing that's really just personal for me is the medication delivery.
Sure.
So, like it's COVID times right now. A lot of I have a family member who's vulnerable and is still quite cautious and careful about contracting COVID or just trying to avoid getting COVID. And she has to coordinate when she leaves the house to go pick up stuff. So like this adds just another layer of safety onto these things. And you know, no matter what you think about the pandemic, if somebody just has limited mobility, that's another big thing, or immunosuppressed patients or people like that. So it's a really incredible thing for me to see that. The life-saving aspect we saw there, a young woman that was struggling to stay afloat. I like the drone delivery. How many times do we stay stuck at the post office for an hour plus trying to pick up a parcel?
Yeah, seriously. Man.
Like, I hope USPS, someone has the idea to like, contract you guys and just do at-home deliveries finally. Oh my God. That's an industry.
It's definitely in the works. It's definitely in the works.
What a cry.
The mailbox system that you just saw in that video, we actually have, not here on Guam. It did make a stop here on Guam. We unboxed it, we're all excited about it. We took a look at it, but we had to box it back up and we shipped it out to Palau. So we've got a lot of things going on in Palau, not just Guam. It's called a Valkyrie box, and we partnered up with this company called Valkyrie. And they're the ones who came up with this innovative technology, and it's this 6-box system, mailbox system. So your mail comes in, and you saw how it just it came and was delivered onto the mailbox system, and you get a ping on your phone or whatever your device. You go to the locker, you scan your QR code or whatever it may be. We're still working on the technology on that, but you pretty much do, those steps, that process, and the box opens up and there are your packages. Pretty cool technology. We're all excited about it. Mike and our engineer, John, we've been going out to Palau lately and just making sure that, we're moving forward in everything, in all our efforts. Yeah, great stuff. Great stuff.
Yeah, and by the way, thank you for hosting us in your office here in the Bella Wings Aviation office.
Oh, yes, of course. Welcome to Bella Wings Flight Lab.
It's kind of amazing. I'm surrounded by what I can only assume is technology that's worth more than I could afford in my lifetime.
Not gonna lie. Yeah.
There's some stuff I'm scared to touch, and I jump off of cliffs.
Oh no, we welcome everyone to anyone who's interested in the technology and drone technology. We welcome them into the Bella Wings Flight Lab. Mike and John are always happy to give everyone a tour, get to feel and touch the drones, and also I know you're gonna eventually get to it, but the drone light show. We have one of our drones sitting out there on display for everyone to see, touch, and feel. And that's the beautiful and entertaining part of the drone technology. So Mike made sure that it was out for everyone to see today.
Yeah, no, we can go into that right now if you like. Yeah.
Okay.
So I had friends who stayed just above Tumon, and they could see it from their house, and that looked really cool. And just to offer another perspective on the drone light show as opposed to fireworks, I'm a dog owner. My wife is absolutely crazy about rescuing dogs and animals. So she's doing this thing called TNR, trap, neuter, release. So apparently when you remove a dog or a cat from their territory, it encourages the remaining cats or dogs to breed and take over that territory. They're territorial animals. And so we have a lot of dogs coming through our place to get them fixed and then release. But of the few dogs we do keep, I love my girls, Anna and Zelda, my dogs. Whenever there's fireworks going on, they're just shaking in terror, trying to dive under the bed or wherever else. So just from that perspective, a drone light show, just another huge point in its favor as opposed to traditional fireworks. I mean, I do like fireworks as well, but I'm certainly not gonna keep them going for the rest of our lives if drone light shows are an option. And honestly, it's a lot more, I think, interactive, like, because you can like make different pictures and spell different words and everything like that. I think that it would be cool to have potential to I don't know if anyone's done this yet, do a marriage proposal in a drone light show. That would be metal.
I haven't seen one yet, but there are many types of drone light shows out there. Recently it was the Super Bowl. I'm not sure if you guys saw that, but that was really great stuff. I'm always looking at the latest, who's got the latest drone light shows that's just, beating one, the competition is just out there, right? So who's got a better light, drone light show going on?
So how does that even work? How many drones are in that thing?
So what we did on Guam in last year during Liberation, it was 100 drones during that drone light show. One pilot, everything was the entire production was pre-programmed. It's amazing when you get to see the technology, being planned and produced, right? Like all the programming and the planning that goes on, behind the scenes. It's just great stuff. It gives you goosebumps and you're excited. And I know I'm going to also speak for the rest of my team, right? Everyone was excited. It brings a different kind of entertainment to the island and it's always going to be about innovative technology, It's the first of its kind to be out here on the island of Guam and to be that company that brought that technology to Guam to showcase to our island community. It's personal to me, and I'm sure it's personal to a lot of other people because being in this field of business, it's Guam is we always seem to be behind on a lot of things as far as technology, but I can assure you today that we are not far behind as far as drone technology. Guam is working right along the rest of the world in drone technology, and thanks to not just Bella Wings, but to all the other different companies that are here on the island that's pushing forward with their innovative senses and initiatives in the drone technology. And back to the drone light show, the crowd that we brought into Tumon, and especially during a pandemic, right? Mm-hmm. The togetherness, right? The community, people loved it. And when you're a part of that and the company that brought people and families together into, one area and to enjoy something as a family, as in this unison, in this union, right, is something that will never be taken away. It's a memory that you'll always have, right? So being able to make that history it's heartwarming. And Bella Wings is also about that, is being able to have that technology that brings people together, for sure.
Yeah, so about the drone light show, we just, it's more of an art, so to speak, because what you see is 5% of what goes on. Like in the background, there's 95% planning, there's the animation software. So that's a totally separate thing that people have to do. So you would hire your artist. It's not just drone pilots. So it gets everybody involved.
It's really an industry, you're saying?
I'm sorry?
It's really an industry.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I was just maybe a totally off the wall idea, but you guys, I remember the Weasley twins in Harry Potter when they had this kind of fake like dragon, like firecracker things or whatever. That would be amazing if you had like some kind of like drone parade, like lighting stuff up. I don't know, something to think about. I don't even know if that's possible.
Well, I have to watch the movie because I kind of remember, but it might be possible.
Okay.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like something you said there also just resonated with me. Like, I think we have a tendency to sell ourselves short on Guam and think we're behind on everything. And I will fully admit we're behind on a lot of areas, but in some areas we're either leading the way or not far behind. With the in particular with this drone technology as we're talking about now, and I think that's a good segue. Janelle, do you feel like your drone research is on the frontier of drone science in the world, or how do you feel about that?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like whenever I have to tell people about what I do, I get very excited about it, and to see their reactions, it's definitely something that motivates me to want to learn more and to increase my skills with drones and everything like that.
Yeah, could you just talk about what you use drones in your research? We met in a swamp, you and I.
Yeah. Yeah. So the first time we met down in Mauricio. We were doing a site visit for the mangroves there in order to see what the best place would be to land and launch the drone. Farron is really aware of that area, so he was my advisor, Dr. Romina King, wanted him to kind of boonie stomp us the way there to figure it out, take a look at the bay and everything. And I got started using drones as part of my research thesis project with the university under Dr. Romina King. She kind of just had this idea that asked me if I wanted to become licensed. And as a first year graduate student, very eager to please, I said absolutely. Not knowing that how intensive of a process it would be, but it's definitely the most fulfilling task or the most fulfilling thing that I've ever done in my life. And it's just it's a work in progress, and it's something that every day I'm learning new things about, whether it's about airspace or just the drone equipment itself, keeping people safe, the research methods around that. There's just so much about it.
So no experience or nothing. Dr. Romina King's like, hey, you want to get into drones? And you're like, I'm down.
Yeah, and she's like, okay, first, you just have to get licensed. And I was like, okay, let's get licensed. So I just spent a semester studying and got licensed last June. And then from there, shadowed one of my colleagues, Eliana Walker. She was kind of the head drone person with the university. She was doing more like thermal imagery, so I kind of just went on with her on her boat missions, on any other missions that she did when it came with like mapping badlands or anything that any university student or faculty asked us to come and map or model or anything like that, we would do. So I owe a lot of my experience to her as well as to Dr. King with kind of just keeping me aware, calming my nerves. I remember the most interesting thing that Dr. King said to me was, don't be afraid to crash. And I would just laugh at her and be like, don't be afraid to crash. And I was like, it's thousands of dollars a drone. She's like, if you're not afraid to crash, once you do it, then it'll just be fine. It's over with. And you'll learn from your mistakes. Luckily, I've never crashed, but I've had other things happen, disconnections with drones, not being able to fly through that airspace, a lot of like technical issues, but nothing that we can't figure out with the help of other colleagues. Yeah. Yeah,
I heard you two had connected, Mike and you, Janelle, had connected before with some troubleshooting.
Yeah, we were down at the Badlands in Mauricio. I was with Patrick Keeler of Department of Ag, and we were trying to get some shots of his site just so we can see how his seedlings were doing in that area. And the drone just wouldn't take off, saying that we were in restricted airspace, although none of the maps or anything like that say that we are. We never really figured out that issue, but yeah, I was calling almost everyone I knew. Eliana Walker, Dr. Romina King. I called a bunch of people from some of the other drone corporations here, and then Eliana gave me Mike's info and kind of just shot him a text and let him know what my problem was and trying to help me troubleshoot that. Yeah.
Did you want to jump in, Mike?
Yeah. Well, I was very confused too. I gave her all the solutions I possibly thought, but I guess it didn't work. And it just so happened to be that certain drone.
Yeah, I think it's a matrice issue.
210 or something?
Yeah, we used the 200, but Eliana's taken the 210 there, and we ran into the same issue there before. And we had some other people come over there with some smaller drones like Mavic Pro, Mavic Airs, and they were able to get up there.
What's a 210?
It's the enterprise version. So we have a big one here.
So that's a drone.
That's a drone.
Okay.
It's an industrial drone.
Yeah.
It's not your small ones that you just take pictures. It can do that, but this one is able to take payloads.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it can put sensors, your NDVI sensors or whatever thermal, whatever you guys need.
How heavy is a payload?
I don't know what payload you're carrying, but ours can, I think, carry like 8 pounds, 8 to 12 pounds.
Yes, that's
Oh,
correct.
that's an infant.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's a baby.
Yeah.
Your drones,
Carries a baby, yes.
your drones can carry a baby.
Very, very expensive baby.
Yes.
Yeah, we treat it softly too. We don't want to drop them expensive babies.
Have you started flying missions for your research yet?
Yeah, so I completed last fall the round of RGB images that I took with the Matrice.
What images?
200 RGB,
Uh,
like just
Help me out.
Color.
regular color
Red,
images,
green, blue
just
color.
regular,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Not
All right.
thermal.
Yeah, not thermal or
Okay.
any other type of sensor. And that's just particularly for my mapping and modeling. So I want to be able to kind of get a look at the mangroves and compare it to some past LiDAR data. And I want to see if we have a decrease in mangrove area, an increase in mangrove area. And then from there, I want to use a different drone, a Phantom Pro 4 multispectral drone. It has a built-in like RTK system, which is just its built-in GPS system. And I'm going to use that to determine health. So it has like an NDVI camera, which with those images, I'll be able to see kind of which areas of mangroves are doing better than others. And then from there, determine what's causing it. So maybe it's a soil issue, a water issue, a contamination issue. Maybe we're seeing some cutting down of mangroves. So those are the steps that I have next to do.
why the interest in mangroves?
Well, the interest definitely came from Dr. King, and she kind of inspired me to want to look into their ecosystem services. So mangroves are one of the
Ecosystem services?
yes. So mangroves are one of the like most biologically important ecosystems of the world because they provide capabilities to human, coastal, and marine systems. They stabilize shorelines in the event of natural disasters. They sequester carbon, and they prevent erosion. They are areas of shelters for a variety of marine fish, and they also absorb pollutions. So like just knowing how climatic changes are affecting our environment and knowing how us on an island, we're more vulnerable to certain things, such as sea level rise, erosion, loss of land, knowing that mangroves have these protection capabilities to keep us safe should encourage us to keep them safe and encourage us to replant them around specific parts of our island to prevent erosion and as well to keep us from losing our land.
Very cool. I actually really like mangroves. Like I tell kids, like if I could be a tree, I'd be a mangrove
That's
tree
awesome.
because I'm equally like a jungle boy and water boy.
Yes.
So like, since mangroves like can tolerate both or they're happy in both, that's
Yeah.
like if I had to be a tree, I'd be a mangrove tree. Also, they all have these wicked roots that come out of the ground. That's how they get their air, right?
Yeah.
And it just looks kind of like I feel like a monkey like walking through those. I kind of want to swing from like roots and branches and so on.
Yeah, and you did when we went out there. You're kind of just like, I'm going to take this path. I'm like, okay. Yeah.
It got pretty tangly in there.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, I actually just want to add to Janelle. I mean, I've been wanting to do, like, it should have been acknowledged from the very beginning of this show, right? Janelle, congratulations in all your accomplishments.
Thank you.
And I'm ecstatic. I told her before everyone walked in here, it was just the two of us. I said, wow, I'm ecstatic to meet you. I'm super honored to meet you because women in drones, you don't, there's not a lot of women who are remote pilots. And so, I asked her all the questions you just asked her. Sorry, I got to her before you did, because I was very much interested, how did she get into flying drones and having the interest that she's got, today, and to be passionate about it. And, you don't see that a lot. You don't hear that a lot. And definitely not on the island. So when Mike told me that we had another female coming in and she's an actual remote pilot, I was like, that's amazing. Yes, let's do this. I'm excited to meet her. So it's definitely. I'm also president of Women in Aviation International Guam Chapter.
Oh.
It was founded chartered in November 2019. So we're fairly new. But we would love to have you as one of our members. Yeah, for sure. And so Women in Aviation, we primarily focus on promoting, it's not, of course, women, but also because we're the only nonprofit organization on the island that's focused primarily on aviation. We also promote, both men and women on the island, basically the community, of course. But yeah, we welcome everyone, into our organization. But yes, meeting you it's been fun. I'm sitting here now, you every time you ask something about Bella Wings, I'm like, wait, we're gonna have to eventually shift this to Janelle, because I don't get to meet another female drone pilot often. So this is really, really cool. It's very much an honor to meet you. So I hope you know how important your position is on this island.
Like, no pressure. Yeah, well, we can't end that without talking about Dr. Romina King, another woman in science, woman in STEM, who's empowered you with this amazing opportunity and great work you're doing, and who's empowering me as well, who offered me a scholarship. So now I'm doing my undergrad at the University of Guam. I'm an agriculture and life sciences major. And that's all because of her, and her asking people around about me. Oh, how's Farron? Should he? What do you think of him? And other women that have supported me in my personal, professional, and educational development. And we more women in STEM. They're not just looking out for just other women, but they're bringing me in too, and potentially maybe you, Mike. I don't know if anyone's approached you about that yet.
Not yet, but I'm willing to help. Yeah.
Awesome, cool. And now, just staying with the UOG vibes, you have something to do with Drone Corps?
Yeah.
What is Drone Corps?
So Drone Corps was started with NASA Guam Space Grant and NASA Guam EPSCoR at the university under Dr. Romina King. It was just a way to kind of fuel Guam's need for remote pilots, and to do it in a safe and educational way. So right now, we just finished our first cohort. I think we have about 12 successful pilots that got their license. We have some of them working with, I think, China Aviation, some of them working with us at the university just to fulfill their hours for the practice. So with Drone Corps, they get to go through a training course. They get their license paid for. They get a stipend, and then they just get the overall experience. And then we're hoping from there to kind of get some of our successful members to kind of start off the next cohort of a Drone Corps members.
Okay, hang on. So you got a cohort there.
Yeah.
They get training, they get certification. I'm assuming the FAA license and so on.
Yep, Part 107.
And they get a stipend.
Yes.
So they're not paying for that.
Nope.
That is insanity.
Yeah.
Or will there be more cohorts?
Yeah, so we're hoping to have one start up again in the summer and hoping to expand a little bit more. Right now it's just for UOG students, hoping to look into GCC students as well. And then just further from there, opening it up to the public. As long as it's, successful, people are interested in it. I think we're going to keep it going. Yeah. So
if anyone wants to take a free course resulting in certification and get a stipend, we got to have some contact info. Do you happen to have that memorized? Well, we don't have a Drone Corps email just yet. The university is a little bit behind with some just like technology things right now, but you can contact Keanu Fausto from the university. I can get you his email after this, but yes, he's our main media person, him with John Borja. We all work under Dr. Romina King. Sure. Yeah, and if you're listening or watching and you want to learn more about this, please feel free to message me. I check my messages at least a couple times a week, and I can pass along your information or give your information to whoever the coordinator would be for all this. People seem to just report random things to me anyway. Wildfire. Someone reported a dead hammerhead shark. Yeah, to me. So I went looking for it, couldn't find it, but I got pictures that the person who saw it sent to me. So yeah, I guess we can just keep that going if you just want to message me and you're interested in a paid That's hard to get those words together.
Yeah.
A paid opportunity to get this amazing certification, which you can definitely put on your resume and earn income from.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Wow. And what? Wait. So that there's no such thing as a free lunch, right? That's not true. I've had plenty of free lunches. But what are participants or students expected to do? There has to be some kind of. You said they have to put in hours.
Yeah, so first off, they have to attend the educational trainings in the beginning. That's mostly benefiting them to help them best equip themselves for the FAA test. It can be a little tricky, a lot of trick questions. From there, when they get their license, they have to complete 40 hours of training, whether that's with a simulator or whether that's in the field. So, like myself and Dr. King, we try to get some drone corps members to come out with us with any mapping missions that we have, just to get them that hands-on experience. We're also making a drone corps educational video for the university for, I think, Charter Day. And just for our Jubilee year, just some educational stuff about proper drone care, checklists, things in the field, things to do out before and after. So yeah, it's very interesting, very cool. And I love being a part of it.
Yeah, I think you had us at free, unpaid.
Yeah.
Most importantly, I see Vic from KUM behind the camera over there. He's all like, "Man, that sounds interesting."
Yeah.
Are you familiar with? I'm not sure I can say his name right. Chad Virayev?
I don't think so.
He's one of the NASA guys, and he's doing some underwater mapping with drones flying in the air.
I've heard of that.
You've heard about that?
Yeah.
Oh no, I haven't.
Okay, so this is while we're on the. Can you explain it? Do you know enough about it?
I saw an article somewhere. He was using the same drones we were using, but I think he made a sensor from.
Wow.
He was like a PhD researcher that you can map coral from the air. Yeah. And I've never heard of a sensor that can do that. So I think it was custom made from his research.
Yeah.
Is this for Guam?
Yes.
Yeah, he did it for Guam.
Oh, I'm wondering if it's the same thing that I was kind of talking about earlier. We have the NASA people coming in May to map the corals here, and then from there we're going to Palau in June to do the missions there. And I think right before Guam, they're in Hawaii. So maybe it might be the same thing.
Yeah. So yeah, that sounds like the same people.
Yeah.
I'll try to recap what I understand of it. I saw him present on it once. So he's either invented or participating in this very new technology to map the sea floor down to, let's say, 30 feet or so, using drones flying through the air. And he's doing that with something called caustics. So if you're ever in the water snorkeling and you see these bright bands of light moving in the sand or on the sea floor, that's basically just lensing, like you use a magnifying glass to make a bright point of light with the sun. The movement of the water and the curvature of the waves and choppiness of the water focuses light too, and it makes these bright bands or almost webs of light moving along the sea floor. And that technology is being able to penetrate down and see the sea floor. He showed a video using this, and you could actually identify some balati. What's balati in English?
Sea
Sea
cucumber.
Sea cucumber.
Yeah.
I can never remember. So you could identify some balati. I'm just going to stick with it tomorrow. Some balati by using drones. And you guys use some of the same drones? Maybe not the camera, but
We used the same drone, but he had a different sensor, because that's why we love these drones, because you can do a bunch of things with it.
Different payloads, yeah.
Different payloads, whatever your use case.
Okay. Yeah, in case there's any other drone nerds, and I mean that in the best way.
Yep.
If there's any other drone nerds listening, you guys just want to shout out what equipment you use or what you have, and feel free to be technical at this point. And I won't interrupt.
Okay.
So what was that drone, for example?
The one that we have?
Yeah.
Okay, it's a M600 drone. It's from DJI. They made that one for like videography. But a lot of researchers are using it to carry their payloads, to do mapping, stuff like that, because it's a heavy lift drone. And a lot of these sensors, they're meant for like land-based, but then there's only so much you can shrink it down, and they just end up being heavy anyways. So these heavy lift enterprise drones are able to lift these sensors and conduct research. or whatever's required. Yeah.
Is there any other cool drones that you use here?
All our drones are actually pretty cool. The one thing we haven't taken out is our was it the water drone?
Yeah.
We've been so caught up.
What?
You know,
It can take off in and out of water. It can't swim into water, but it can land in the water, and you could stick a camera in there, and it could look around while you're floating, and then take out of the water.
Wow.
Yeah, and that drone they also use it for offshore fishing, so deep-sea fishing. So you would be on the shore, it would tow your line out a mile or two, drop it down, and I've seen people catch like big like mahi, or I'm not much of a fisherman, but like they would catch like huge fish from shore, and it'd be so far you need like a mechanical reel, power
Like
reel,
an electrical reel?
electrical reel.
Oh, wow.
To pull in that fish, because it's just a mile. Imagine reeling in a mile long reel. It's just crazy, but it enables you to do that.
Oh, okay. So
I believe that's what they were primarily built for.
Oh, so what are you guys planning on using it for?
You know what, we would like to have used it for basically just more on the search and rescue as well, because it has that capability.
Yeah.
You know, being able to land and take off in the water.
Yeah.
The issue there is the difference with these drones, right? Is when they're built, they're tested in you know, like
Factories. And
Freshwater.
more of like freshwater.
Freshwater lakes.
Not Guam conditions.
I mean, it can do it. It's just you got to rinse it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
after you're
all.
done.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. The maintenance in that is, it could be quite extensive, but it's the one drone that we've taken out, but we haven't tested much yet.
At least to its full capability.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct.
We've flown it. Yeah. Just haven't
But-
landed in an ocean.
I think that's one of our cool drones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry. Speaking of search and rescue, you know, we've been framing this very much in a marine side, so people lost or drowning, at sea. But you could, I assume, just as easily use it on land. Like literally on my
absolutely.
way here, I drove by Seti Bay Overlook, and there was a couple ambulances and Guam Fire Rescue, and I can only assume that there's some lost or hurt hikers somewhere, maybe at the Seti 7, those falls, or somewhere in that area. So that takes a lot to activate at 4 vehicles and how many emergency personnel, and and never mind about trying to save tax dollars or anything, but just trying to save time. Like I can only imagine that implementing drones combined with search and rescue on land or in the water would only be to everyone's benefit in every way.
There's just an array of use case for drones. I mean, it's more of like, what can a drone not do?
Yeah.
I've attended a UAV expo out in Vegas last year, and the technology, the amount of technology that's out there as far as drones is just, it's just amazing. You're like a kid in a candy store, right? Like, what does this do? And what does this do? And wow,
That's how I feel about everything.
And so one of the demonstrations that we did watch, or that I did watch out there, was with the police department. So this one drone, it's able to, what they use it for is it has the capability to break glass or break glass. So it breaks the glass, flies into the scene of some sort of scene that may be of hazardous to either the people either inside or outside, and it does its inspections. It goes into the different. I mean, it's definitely for indoors, and the space and the capability of it to fly within a very confined environment. It was very impressive. And so what those drones do is they pretty much the police department gets trained on them, and they take off from the interior of their vehicle or their whatever rescue vehicle. It takes off from in there, and it pretty much flies into, without any touch. There's no danger. It's pretty much danger free for the police officers involved, or just bystanders. So it's actually a very safe component as far as emergency situations. So as far as cool drones, that's another cool drone.
Yeah, window busting.
Right. Yeah. So
Yeah, SWAT drone.
yeah.
Literally, yeah.
As far, and that's what I mean with, Bella Wings, being able to, we're always looking at the latest technology, always finding, keeping abreast of what the most innovative technology has come to light, and just following with it and keeping our island right along with the technology that's growing. And as far as education, we've also got we're working on the education part as well. We'll be offering services to teach and not necessarily certify, but prepare for the FAA knowledge exam. We'll be working on that. Well, we're currently working on that, and classes will be offered at air services in Teason. And so it's another way to get into technology. Into becoming a remote 107 pilot. It's not free, but I'm sure that there are scholarships out there and whatnot that students can apply for. Or it's not. I mean, in any type of education, we're lucky if we get it free, but there's a cost to it, right? And if you want it that bad, it's there for you. Is it something that that an individual should pursue in these days? Absolutely. Is it an intimidating technology to pursue? Absolutely not. Everyone can do it. You just, it's pretty easy to learn. There's a lot of challenges to it. I'm always impressed with what Mike learns every single day.
I'm always impressed with Mike, just period.
Yes, yeah.
Likewise.
Yes,
He's an impressive
yes.
dude.
He is very much impressive, and we're very proud to have him as part of our team. Since meeting Mike, it's been 2 years we've known each other now, and we're very, very honored to have him on our team and to have him teach us every day what he learns, to move Bella Wings forward. A lot of great things going on. Yeah.
Sure.
And yeah, Janelle, you look like you're vibing really hard with. Did you want to add anything to that? Or?
Well, I kind of just felt really motivated with you talking about the educational aspects of it. I think the opportunity is always there, but being able to make it more approachable for people, and even in any aspect, it's just great because it's such great technology, and it's there for all of us. And if we can get younger people involved with it, I think the industry will just continue to grow and grow for years.
And speaking of getting younger people involved with it, so Bella Wings is actually working as well. There's a lot going on with Bella Wings, which is good. Yeah. And it's primarily also not only because we have a love for it and a passion for it, but also because we want the community to get involved. And how this came about is, again, the pandemic, right? How can we get the community excited about something? How can we bring the community together again? And so Mike, with his amazing talents, as I was looking or researching for more technology, I came across FPV racing. And I remember Mike is the talented individual who does that. And so we came up with the idea that eventually we would, maybe in a couple of months, we'll be hosting a drone racing show.
Wow.
And it will be more than likely held at the Paseo Stadium. We're still working on it. Again, a lot of things that Bella Wings is working on to move the technology forward and get the community excited again.
I've seen one of his videos, or you showed me one of these videos, and I'm like, at first, when you explain it, yeah, it's a drone race. I'm like, okay. But then I see the video, I'm like, whoa, that's insane. If you've seen RC car racing, that's actually quite entertaining. It doesn't seem like it would be just hearing those words, but when you see them just zooming around a track, you're like, wow, that's actually really cool. Now imagine that, but three-dimensionally, flying through the air. And you even see some of these drones seem pretty tough. And I've actually seen you bump or crash the drone and it just shrugs it off and keeps going. You do some drone racing. How fast does your drones go? Or
Okay, so my drone can go about 100 miles an hour.
Wow.
100 miles
100 miles an hour. But I've seen them go 220 miles an hour.
Wow.
And yeah, they're not even that big.
Yeah.
They're just so small, but they're just so aerodynamic, and it's pumping out so much power that it can do that for a short burst. But the technology is there that these drones can just go above your consumer drones and actually race. And it's such a challenge because there's no GPS, there's no assistance. If you turn over and go upside down, you're going to go upside down. If you aim towards the concrete, you're going to go for the concrete. So it's such a very technical type of racing because you said it's 3-dimensional. You have to worry about every which way, and then it's not just the racing; it's the fixing and building. So a lot of these racers, they're their own mechanics because you have to. You can't just take it to the hobby shop because, I mean, you could, but you need to fix it on the field, and there's just another layer of complexity to racing, and that's why I gravitated towards it because I always do want to do what's complicated or challenging, and that just was up my alley.
Yeah, I'm born and raised here, so our speed limit is 35 miles an hour. So I'm trying to process that 100 miles an hour, 220 miles an hour. So I'm like, all right, in Fast and the Furious terms, right? 10-second car. Like, where does that put us with a drone? Is it like a 5-second drone? I'm probably too fast. So you're competing with like Vin Diesel. Wow.
Yeah, serious.
In terms of speed.
Serious.
Oh man, yeah. So this has been. All right, we'll start wrapping it up, I guess. But has there anything you've been burning to talk about? Anyone? Has we not gotten to talk about anything you wanted to talk about? I hate to end the show and we left something unsaid.
There's so many we can go on. Unfortunately, we're on time limit, right? But there's definitely a lot to talk about as far as drone technology. And the list goes on. The one thing I would like to the audience to take away from this is the safety in drone flying. That's the biggest thing, and also the respect of the community when you fly your drones, understanding your airspace, understanding the regulations of the FAA that's set out there for us to follow. That's always primarily important, and it's the one thing we definitely want to be able to convey to the community primarily is before you fly, understand your drone, understand the dynamics of flying. You can't just take a drone and fly out there. There are required regulations, and one of them is if for recreational flying, you definitely have to take a recreational test required by the FAA and pass it with 100% passing.
Whoa.
Yes.
Well, the test is free. And it won't allow you to fail. It'll ask you to keep trying again until you pass it. So it's not that hard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, all the answers are there. If it's something you want to do, don't be intimidated by it. It's all about reading and educating yourself, and basically just making sure that, you understand what's required of you as a drone flyer. Yeah. And definitely, there's a business out there for those who want to fly a drone. Everybody can make it a business if they wanted to make it a business, and that's by obtaining the 107 remote pilot's license. And in order to do that, you'd have to go onto the FAA website. There's a process there. It gives you all the information that you need to obtain that pilot's license. And we're here. Bella Wings Aviation is here. UOG. There's a lot of resources out there. We're happy to assist. We're happy to help. Our information is on our website. Again, we're excited.
What's the website?
The website is www.bellaWingsAviation.com. Okay. And I'm here. Again, my name is Perla, and I'm happy to assist anyone who's willing to pursue the industry.
Mm-hmm. All right, beautiful. Yeah, and you two had nothing to do with each other and reached out, and there's looks like there's some great camaraderie among the drone pilots. So it looks like a good environment to be coming up in. Janelle, did you have anything else you wanted to throw in to the anything we can get to talk about, or were you pretty satisfied?
Yeah, very satisfied. I love building connections within the drone community, and then just having to relay to our community the capabilities of drones, whether it's for research, whether it's for business, recreational, anything like that. I think, Carla, you said it great when you talked about like just being like safety. Like, I think that's the biggest thing really, is just keeping yourself safe as a pilot, keeping your team safe, keeping the community safe, and keeping your equipment safe. I think that's definitely like the best thing that we can talk about when it comes to drones. Yeah. And just to have fun with it.
Cool.
Definitely have fun with it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to talk about you again, Miguel, to wrap it up, but I'll let you talk for yourself first.
Okay, so about me or about just in
anything.
general? Okay, I like to also touch again on the camaraderie. So when I first got into drones, I was me and YouTube, just researching, just on the internet.
That
and
sounds like people's college educations.
For sure.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and I learned how to do all these things, and I don't want to say it was by myself because it wasn't by myself. A lot of people on Guam really helped me out. Perla and just the other FPV pilots on Guam. If I had a question, they were willing to help out. If I needed a part, they were willing to give it to me like for free. Like a guy literally gave me one of his drones he wasn't using for free.
Wow.
Because I would fly more than he would, and he saw that I was really into it, and they were just so generous. So this community is a very collaborative community, and they're willing to help. And just like when Janelle called me, I was in the middle of a job, and I didn't mind to take 10-20 minutes to help her out, because that's just the kind of the Guam culture, and of course the drone culture in general, because these things are not easy. And we know how hard it is, and we just want to help everybody out.
Awesome. Yeah, and just to wrap things up, one more really cool thing I want to talk about is I've seen some of your videos where I don't know if it's FPV or your regular drone, but you're doing like real estate like tours, flying through like houses for sale or stuff that.
Okay.
And so if there's anybody who's potentially interested in your services or Bella Wing services, if that's one and the same or not, how can people contact you and just tell a little bit just about that particular service?
Okay. My information should be on the website from Bella Wings, or I don't know if you guys have show notes. We can put it in the show notes as well. But what I offered was an FPV fly through. So that was taking my FPV, because that was part of a hobby that I had, and I wanted to make a business out of it, or add that into my existing business, because I just love FPV. And I was able to fly in through this multi-million-dollar house on Guam, like 4 levels, all in one shot. And it was in like 2 minutes, 4 levels, showing the garage, the pool, the indoor basketball court. And it was just such a useful tool. And yeah, pretty much so.
I can only imagine how cool that would look for the hotels if you could fly through their guest rooms, out the window, down into a restaurant and so on, for them to promote their stuff. GVB, if you're listening, think about it. Ken Core or whoever. Think about it. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me on episode 2 of the Guam Guys Show. I can't say that without struggling.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
This has been really awesome.
This was fun. This is definitely fun. We'll be happy to do it again whenever you like.
Sure. Tiny shout outs to my friends Ashley and Renee for making me late today. Big shout out to Chris Malafunction Barnett and KUAM and Victoria Fallon over there for offering this great opportunity to do this podcast. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and thanks for listening.